I love your happiness word. It is joyful. Tell me how you came up with joyful for happiness.
The word joy to me is just, it's got an energy around it, joy. It's like jump for joy. A lot of people do vision boards. I have a vision board, but I also do a joy board. So I put people, places, activities that bring me joy. And then I take joy breaks across the day if I'm feeling a bit flat. And I think, oh, okay, I will jump for joy or I'll do this XYZ. So I think it's just finding those simple micro moments of joy. It doesn't have to be big things. If it's a small deposits of joy across the day, sipping your green tea, because we're both not drinking coffee right now, so we're not going to talk about coffee. Um, Watching the sunrise, watching the sunset, actually looking at some art, reading a good book, listening to some beautiful music. So they're all like what I call micro moments of joy that you're kind of drip feeding across the day. And then you get the macro moments, like, you just signed the book, Dale, had a round of applause as a speaker, a standing ovation, or you just signed the deal, or, if you've got children, they just come and give you the biggest hug and say, I love you, mommy. I mean, there are all of these moments of joy that are found in the simpleness of life when we're open and receptive to that. That heartfelt joy is just really, really super powerful. So I think it's about being receptive, it's about being open, it's about being intuitive and just knowing what you need right now. I mean, that's a great question. And I'll often do that. I'll put my hand on my heart and I'll close my eyes and I think, what do I need right now? And it could be a hug, it could be a good cry, it could be a laugh. And it's a great question to ask your partner, when they're a little bit off and you say, well, what do you need right now? Or your kids that are playing up, or your clients, what do you need right now, being the operative word, so that we can shift their mind state, I would say, not mindset. I prefer the word mind state. What state of mind are you in? We have a gray mind, which is like burnt out, frazzled, flat, a red mind, which is like stressed, overwhelmed, and then this blue mind, which is a calm, focused, meditative mind. And ideally, we go between the blue and the red. We need to have some stress in our life, otherwise, we wouldn't move. If a car came towards us, we would go, oh, it's okay. No, But when we feel that we're in red a lot, then that will take us into gray. So I think that self-awareness of who, what, where brings me joy. Because again, I'll say what brings you joy gives you energy, and we are energy. So that gives us that vibrancy that we linked into the health aspect. It gives us that feeling of being limitless. There's no boundaries. I've got so much energy, I can achieve this. And it's around your values. I think it's really, really important. What are your values? Mine are health, relationships, freedom, growth, making a difference. So being authentic around that and aligned with your values. What are your emotional priorities? Is it joy? Is it peace of mind? Many, many times when I've had challenging situations, when I've woke up in the morning and done my kind of routine, and then I'll say, what do I need right now? And for a time period, it was peace of mind because I had so much going on. It was just peace of mind. And then it was joy, more choices, more love. So I think it's just that checking in with yourself that's really, really important. And on the vibrational frequency, on the emotional chart, joy is actually above love. And then I think it goes to enlightenment. So in terms of a frequency, it's actually a very heightened state that it's a lovely place to be.
Is there a particular moment that you can say has profoundly shaped your sense of happiness and that fulfillment?
Oh my gosh, sometimes it's those moments of awe, I would say, and wonder that, you see the sun coming up, you see the rain pelting down. I haven't seen a baby being born, but I could imagine that would be very kind of awesome and joyful, like it's divine, it's magical. Seeing people achieve their dreams, whenever I watch the sports Olympics and I see people kind of running through the finish line or and I can just see that joy and that achievement. And I think, that's amazing. So when you listen to beautiful music or you see works of art or, the people that you love in your life fulfilling their dreams. For me, that just gives me so much joy and pride. My niece is a singer. She's here now. Last weekend, I spoke at the Gladiator Summit. She sang just after lunch. So 2,000 people come into this huge arena, the stage, spotlight, and she walks on and stands in the spotlight. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's my niece. I'm just like, so I mean, I'm going to Goosey just now, and I had tears welling up in my eyes. And I thought, if my brother could see his daughter now, 2,000 people, and she's singing, I Will Rise Up. I'm going, oh. So I think, more often than not, it's the simple things. I spent some time in Bimini last year and in Maui, so whale watching and being with wild dolphins. And I was just awestruck. It just made me realize that how incredible life is, and the planet and the earth and all the animals, the two and the four-legged animals, the life below the water, the flowers, the trees. And I know that sounds really, well, that's really simple. What about the cars and the houses? What's beauty, aesthetic? Of course, I'd love to have a nice, beautiful beach house. And I've got a beach studio that looks out to the ocean. So I think, we all have different joy molecules within us that are there and dormant, and some they're activated by things that we love. Some people like fast cars. They get excited about fast cars. It's like, I like cycling, I like dog sledding, I like kayaking kind of thing. So yeah, I think, you choose your bliss and then follow it. And then make sure you have deposits across the day. The brain has this negativity bias. I'm not sure if you're aware of it. If 5 people said, hey, Christina, you look great today. I love that necklace. That blue really suits you. The lips, oh, it's amazing. And then one person comes along and says, hey, Christina, you're looking really tired today. I wonder why you chose blue. You look much better in green. You'd forget the 5 and you just focus on that. And I think that's, when we're aware of that, we can flip it and hang out with people and just say, okay, if that's their opinion, you're entitled to it, but you can shove off now, and then start putting some more positive emotions in. So Dr. Barbara Fredrickson of, Carolina University of the positive psychology says that we need 5 positive emotions to every 1 negative or neutral emotion to maintain our kind of a full and fulfilling life. 3 to 1 is about the tipping point, but if it's 1 to 1 or 0 to 1 or something, then that's when we start kind of spiraling down. That self-awareness again comes like, I need something to just top me up. So it's just being aware of that.
Mindfulness in itself, I mean, it's so fascinating as people are becoming more aware. Just the image you just gave me with the whales and just like,
Mm.
just being in that moment. You might snap a picture, but put that camera away and enjoy what's
Yes.
really happening right in front of you. I think that is so important, and it does bring such an amazing part of joy. And you have studied a lot of things, the Zen, the positive psychology, that I think are so important for people to learn. If you had a lesson that you would love to give, what would that be?
Question would be, what time are you in? Because a lot of people are in the past. A lot of people are thinking about what's next, what's tomorrow was. So if you're in the present moment, which is all about being mindful, and you're present and grounded and centered and focused, then you're much more likely to see some incredible opportunities and resources and things around you, rather than being, oh, tomorrow and this and this and this, or oh, this happened yesterday. He said this yesterday. So I would think the question would be, what time am I in? Am I in the now, and am I being really present and receptive and open? Or am I really still carrying the heaviness of something that was 1 day, 2 day, 3 days away, or getting a little bit stressed about what's going to happen tomorrow? So it's the Eckhart Tolle, isn't it? Like the power of now, of being present. And it's a present, it's a gift.
Like I tell people, it's like, take the time to grieve for the
Yes,
things that you need to, so that you
yes.
can move forward and be in this moment.
I mean, when it comes to grief, I've had lots of experience in that, and there's no right or wrong. I mean, I was widowed when I was 36. My second husband, who's still alive, I mean, nearly passed over 4 times during his brain cancer journey. My father passed, my mother passed within 2 years of each other. So I experienced like a compound of grief, and I just kept saying this too shall pass. Feel it to heal it, name it to tame it, all of these things. And if I want to cry, I'm going to cry. If I don't want to talk to anybody, I'm not going to talk to anybody. If I want to go for a long walk and just not say what time I'm coming back, that's what I'm going to do. If I want to dance like nobody's what, that's what I'm going to do. If I want to bang a drum, if I, anything. And then, the big question was for me, what am I grieving for? Because what about the person that's left? They didn't want to go either, but I'm the one here. The people that are left are the ones that are really carrying on that suffering. I found eventually through nature, through different practices, was, the best thing I can do is to honor that person and live a life that they dreamed for me. Our parents, they give us this greatest gift and it's life. And I just visualize if they're looking down at me now and seeing me in this room and saying, what? They're going to say, come on, Julie, pull yourself together. We created you. We gave you life. We gave you food. We gave you water. We gave you shelter. We gave you a great accommodation. We gave education. Please do something with it. So I think, whatever the tipping point is for people, you eventually through time will heal, but it is important to you just don't just get over it. I mean, if I hear anybody say, oh, just get over it, I look at them and I give them the stare. I said, you might want to rephrase that. What is it? I think it's a beautiful quote. I can't remember who said it. I know that Queen Elizabeth said it after one tragedy and obviously losing a husband. Grief is the price we pay for love. So when we love something, then we grieve for it. If we don't really care about something, if something died, whether it's a plant or I don't know, your battery on your phone, you don't care. But when we really, really love something, then grief is the price that we pay for that. So it's actually a blessing because it means that we have loved something deeply. Some people have never experienced that.
And the joy will come back.
It does. It does. That's a given. It might take a period of time, but then again, it's a choice, and the people that you spend time around, the people that will lift you up and actually encourage you to be more joyful and to find things that bring you joy and peace and honor the person or whatever that you've lost, rather than hanging around the people that are saying, yeah, it's so awful, isn't it? It's so sad. I know how you feel. That's so bad, isn't it? Oh my gosh, what are you going to do? It's like, stay away from those people.
Julie, if you could give the gift of health, wealth, or happiness, which would you give and why?
I think you know my answer. It would be health, definitely. For me, health is like the baseline. We were born, we were given this health, it's our first wealth. When we're healthy, we can do things that make us happy and we can do things that make us wealthy. So, first is the health, then that brings wealth and happiness. So, for me, if anybody said, I need XYZ, I said, are you healthy? Are you sick? Are you breathing? Are you all of these things? And I would say health. This morning I was on a walk and I said, what am I grateful for today? And the first thing that came into my head was, I'm so grateful for my legs so that I can walk. And I don't know where that came from, because not everybody can. So for me, health, hands down, health, because that makes everything so much easier. Yeah.
And now we have a question from our previous guest.
We have all traveled, and there have been plans that haven't come through. How did you take that experience and make it hilarious?
Many years ago, I think it was 2016, I attempted to climb Mount Elbrus in Russia. So that was my travel. It was a mountain. 342 meters away from the summit, the guide just turned around after we'd been walking heads down for 6 hours, no stops or breaks or anything because there was a snow blizzard. He turned around and he said, we have to go back. We're not going to make it to the summit today. We have to get back down. It's dangerous. And of course, I was thinking, well, I'd rather be disappointed than dead, so I will turn around and everything. And then there was a huge gust of wind, and he grabbed my arm, and my mitten, which is a huge one, went flying off into this white vortex of a thing. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this is really serious. So we carried on. He said, if you get to these rocks, the Pashtaputava rocks, I can get a snowmobile to come up and it'll be $100. I looked at him in the eyes. I said, I'll give him $500. Get that snowmobile now. We went back down. I was absolutely exhausted. But then I had a giggle break because I just saw myself as that woman looking in the eye saying, get me the snowmobile now. I'll give him $500, and it was only $100. Like, what a crazy thing to say. I went back the following year to climb the same mountain because it was unfinished business. I saw the guy that had the snowmobile. He was called Johnny, but that wasn't his real name. He was Russian. He wasn't definitely not called Johnny. I said, can you remember me? And he went, yeah, I remember. Remember you. I said, I know snowmobiles today. I'm going to make it to the top and all the way back down. We made it to the top and I was crying at the top. And the guy says, I can't believe you. You were crying before because you didn't make it. Now you're crying because you have made it. What is it? And I said, now I'm crying because I'm happy. Then I was crying because I thought, I don't want to die here. I've got so much to say to. I said, it's just quite funny, really, how this mountain, what the lessons that I've got from this mountain. I've had tears of disappointment, of fear, and then tears of joy. And this guy, Johnny, and his snowmobiles, I'll give you 500, just get me down. So I think, it's just learning. And we've had quirky things. I've had many, many quirky things on travels, like being caught with my pants down in Nepal on the trail when I think nobody's there. I look around, there's nobody there whatsoever. And I just go off the trail a little bit and drop my trousers. And then all of a sudden, there's a stream of trekkers coming past and porters. And I'm sat there squatting, going, namaste, namaste, namaste. And I just think, Julie Lewis, what are you doing? So, yeah, I've had some very funny moments, and I know my clients have. And I think, the ability to laugh at yourself is just so, so important. Falling off your bike, thinking, oh, I hope nobody saw me. And then just laughing. Yeah. Yeah. Getting back up and going, my first book was called Moving Mountains, Discover the Mountain in You. It's based on leading expeditions. I started my business in 2003. This was published in 2016. So you can see how long it took me to even get to writing a book. All my clients kept saying, Julie, you've got so many stories. You've had so many wild experiences. You've had so many clients that have had aha moments. Why don't you write a book? I did. And it's called Moving Mountains, Discover the Mountain in You. So it's a collection of stories. It talks about courage, confidence, values, resilience, love, finding your joy. So it's a personal development book. It all started because I climbed my first mountain 22 years ago for my 40th birthday. That said, the picture on the front is taken in Antarctica, but that's my kind of pose. Like, I'm open to everything, bring it on. 8 years later, book number 2 came, and I climbed the same mountain for my 55th birthday because I was looking for answers. And it's strange how I always felt I needed to go to the mountains for the answers. And it was pouring it down with rain. And somebody at the cabin said, have you ever thought about swimming the English Channel? That's the Everest of open water swimming. And I said, no, I hadn't, but now you suggested it, maybe I will. So I did attempt to swim from England to France in 2018. I didn't make it. I will take the ferry next time. But I did learn a lot about water and a lot about myself. So then I came up with the idea to write a book about water called Uncharted Waters, Discover Your Hidden Depths, to dive a little bit deeper rather than looking up to the spirits in the sky, to go down into this body of emotions. So this was published this year, and it's made Amazon #1 in 4 categories, including environmentalism, spirituality, and mind, body, spirit. And again, it's a personal development book with lots of prompts, QR codes. You can scan a code and then you're listening to a sound of a waterfall. So it's kind of an interactive book. So that's book number 2. And book number 3 is currently in here and in here, and will probably come out at the end of 2026 or beginning of 2027. And of course, it's going to be another nature-based book about trees. Forest wisdom. There you go. Boops. Boom. Did you hear that, universe?
Julie, you are mind-blowing amazing. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Wow, just wow.
Thank you.
Subscribe and click the link below to find out about bonus tracks and how to join our community.